Hi, this is Mary Flower. I imagine many of you've already seen some of the videos on eco printing, and because I make my Made by Fairies junk journals, I decided that I was going to do some eco printing. I went over to the flower shop, which my friend, my very best friend, her mother works at the flower shop, and let me see if I can show you this. I go up like this, and she gave me a bunch of flowers. Now, they were in the trash actually, but I used to work in a flower shop, and if you cut them and put them in a vase like I have here, then they'll last a little longer. And since I'm going to be doing several batches of this, and they each take at least an hour to do, I decided I would put them in water. But I do have some that are cut, and I really like how the eco printing has turned out for other people with just plain leaves, and I think those are beautiful. But I decided I wanted to use a lot of old flowers on these and see how they turn out. I'll probably be doing both, but I have some pretty bright colors here, and she lets me take anything out of the trash, which you can see, and so I'm going to do that. Now, I went over to the thrift store and I found this big pan, and I wanted a separate pan like this for so I don't use it for cooking, because you never know what you're going to be boiling into these eco pictures. And so I decided to just get a big old pan here. And then I also found a big old piece of wood that is going to be going right here, and then this over the top, maybe vice versa, but I think I can put them more here, then I can see, because they'll be squared pieces of paper. I wanted that on the bottom, and then this, and then a rock on top. So I'll be doing that in a minute, and I'll show you what I'm doing. I've taken these white envelopes, and I think these will work good in my books, and I usually keep a very large supply of watercolor paper, which you should. Now, this is 12 by 18. I've given all my smaller stuff for my grandchildren because they're always begging me for watercolor paper. And so I cut them in half. So these would be 9 by 9 this way by 6, I think, half the other. So I'm going to be folding these in half, and then I will also sandwich these papers in between, because they're not watercolor, but they'll fit in there pretty good. So I'm just going to start putting my flowers that I've cut into there, and I may stop this in a minute after I show you what I'm doing. I will just start putting them in here. So I think on every page I want to include some kind of something colorful, because I want to see how the color turns out with that. So I'll be taking different kinds of color on this. And so you just put color in between like so. Then you smash it down. And I'll probably have to lay this on top of it while I'm getting the next one. So let me do another one. But what you need to do is, even the pages in between, I want to put different things inside of it. So I'm just going to pull some of this apart, and I think this red is really pretty. Now, it can get pretty bulky, so you kind of have to watch it here. But there's some red, and I think I'll put some other little things in here. And I like this fern. I think that's pretty. So now I'm going to have to put this rock on it and crush it till I get to the next page. I think I'll do a couple layers of just plain leaves. I've got a couple of them like so, and like these beautiful fern. And you can find some really gorgeous stuff from the flower shop. I think I have, here we go. These are kind of interesting too. So I will put a few of these here. So maybe some purple and some red. It's not going to be easy till I get this going. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to crush these down and pause it until I get a bunch of layers done, and I'll be back here in a minute. Okay, so I have quite a few layers on this, and I'm going to put this on top and then the rock. Now I've only found a couple of rusty things, so I'm going to put one on each side here, an old door. Then I'm going to fill this with water. Now my husband suggested a Brillo pad, and I didn't have one with me, but I think on the next batch I'm going to do a Brillo pad. I'm going to squish that thing down as hard as I can, and probably put several more rocks on this to make sure it's really good. I will be adding water to this, and I think she said about 1.5 cups of white vinegar. I think that's what it was. So I'm going to do this. Now, if I don't know how to piece these two videos together, I will do it in 2 parts, and this being the first part. So bear with me, because I'm new at this and I'm not good at knowing technicalities of things, and that's why a lot of my videos are sort of raw. So I'm going to put water in this, go boil it for 1.5 hours with apple cider, not apple cider, but white vinegar in it, and we're going to see what happens, okay? This may be the beginning of one video, but it may be a second one. We'll see what happens. Okay, thanks. Stay tuned.